Hello and welcome to podcast 4. Podcast 4. I'm just going to call it Joe's podcast now because the title was too long and it was doing my head in. With me today is Andy Hamilton, probably one of the most experienced PTs that I know. I've forgotten the swear jar. Ah, good. There we go. Covered.
We'll need it. And probably some more.
Yeah. Andy likes 4-letter words.
Yeah, provided they're as extreme as possible.
Yes, he does.
And explicit.
Good. Yeah, it's good. He likes other words too, but 4-letter ones are some of his favourites. They're easy to write. They flow quite well.
Well, I'm still not good at writing
though. I thought today talk about motivation. The reason this kind of came up is we're all kind of talking downstairs a few days ago, and I know there's a couple of times recently you kind of started a cut and you've kind of gone, no,
Yeah.
like you've not, and it's like if you can't think of a particular strong reason to do something, it's hard to do it, and it's not having a dig at you in the slightest, but it's just to kind of have a discussion about different forms of motivation. I've spoken to Shona about stuff in the past, and it's been, she gets really inspired by people on Instagram and things like that. I don't know if you do or not, but I'm older, and I don't. And that's nothing against them. I'm just old.
I think for me, it's one of these weird ones in the fact that Instagram, social media has become such a big part of the fitness industry that you have you've got so many like fake, very much illusions that these people that are in amazing shape on Instagram don't necessarily look like that all year round, and if they do, there are some other attributing factors that they are in such great shape all year round. So people
we're talking gear.
Yeah,
talking
in steroids, or the opposite way of starving themselves and not eating and not enjoying life. I decided that I was going to started on a couple of cuts this year, and actually more than anything else is that I need to be motivated for something. So something like a show or competition, which I'll not be doing this year because my other half is in her final year at uni, and she's got a big her degree sort of hinges on the next 6 months, and I don't want to be putting her in the stress that I put her under 2 years ago when I competed. It's not fair for her when she's got an essay coming up and she's got exams coming up, and I decided that I'm just going to back it off.
Andy's talking bodybuilding here. We've both competed once in the past. It's an incredibly selfish sport, and not sport, competition, before anyone argues about that. And on top of that, we've both got a propensity to be a bit grumpy sometimes. And when you're depleted as hell, trying to get to an unsustainably low body fat, you get really grumpy and really sensitive. Your hormones are all over the shop, and that's the last thing your missus needs.
Yeah, so Jenny's. So I've been with Jenny now for nearly 5 years, and she's been through 2 competitions with me.
Of course, sorry, you competed twice.
Yeah, so I've been through 2, and she tries to tell me that I wasn't grumpy, but I know myself I'm a grumpy shit. There's a pound gone.
That's one of the nicer.
I know that's one of the nice ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's motivation's one of these interesting ones where you kind of have to. You've got to be a bit like a dog with a bone and be stubborn about it. Mm-hmm. And at the moment, it's not for me to be stubborn. At the moment, it's Jenny needs her time to do her thing, and for me to be a grumpy shit and sort of be selfish is not at this time. It's not. Mm-hmm. That's not happening at this time. There are other things. This whole thing about the social media, Instagram, Facebook. It's everything's very selfish. It's very much I look great in great in a set of hot pants and a crop top. Yeah, well, yeah. Maybe,
in the perfect light.
Yeah, in a perfect light. There's so many different things that you've got to take into account here. Good lighting. Christ, I look good in lighting, and I'm sitting about 107 kilos, which was nearly 20 kilos over stage weight. But in good light, I've still got abs. So you know, you've got to take these things into account. But motivation wise, you know, for me, because of the background in playing sport, I need to have an end product. I need to have something there to aim at. I can't just turn around and say, oh, I want to look good. That's
it's
tough. I find it tough.
Vanity. Yours isn't just about the mirror. It's obviously your training is primarily aesthetics, but it's more. Yeah, you need that goal, and that's. I'm similar. I think for me it's twofold. One, I hate my physique. I always.
I think that's just.
Anybody
that trains for physique hates their physique.
Yeah.
They want to keep making it better.
And two, I've set myself some strength goals, so I'm a bit dogged on that. And I think there's times that I think I look, you know, I look fat. It's terrible. Oh, look at all these rolls, etc. But then you have to have a word with yourself, because actually my goal at the moment isn't.
But you look at your numbers that you're lifting, and the numbers
exactly.
Are
My goals, those strength goals, and it has to be like, as you say, it's like a dog with a bone. If you sit and tread water, and this is kind of a slight side, but although it links in quite well, tread water going, I want to get bigger, I don't like looking fluffy, right, I'll cut back, I want to get bigger. What happens is, instead of going one way and putting on the size or whatever you want to put on, and then dropping the fat back off, you kind of end up going nowhere. It's one step forward, one step back.
Kind of have to choose what goal you're going to aim to set for, and if it's a cut, you got to stick with it. If it's putting size on, you're going to have to build, and you've got to do it over. You know, this whole 12, 16 week transformation for a physique show. You know, unless you're sitting at a relatively stable and a relatively low body fat, 12 to 16 weeks is usually works. But you know, there are a lot of people who, you know, it's probably me being really shitty and really fucking stupid about it, but there are a lot of people that shouldn't be stepping on stage to compete. Myself being one of them. The first year I competed, I wish someone had turned around and told me, you look fucking awful, because I felt awful and I looked fucking awful. You know, I still was probably about 6 weeks away from stepping on stage.
We're talking bodybuilding terms here.
Yeah.
If you saw him on the beach or whatever, there was a six pack there and stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking about, but getting on stage, bodybuilding specific, it's a different level.
I think motivation comes in two different stages. One is motivating yourself to do something, so you know, giving somebody that intrinsic motivation of I want to achieve something, but also you still need to have people around you that are willing to tell you the truth, because that is motivation in and itself as well. So you know, someone turn around to you and saying, actually, you may be better off to look at another competition in 6 weeks' time, you know, or you know, we need to change this because it's not working. Whereas you know, you see loads of stuff on Instagram, I look amazing, you know, no filter, and actually you sit and go, you fucking need a filter, you know, it's not, you know, you don't look great. Some don't know who's telling you this, but you know, when I played football, I hated hearing positive stuff. I hated hearing, oh, well done, you great game. I wanted to hear.
What do you learn from that?
What do you learn from that? I wanted to know what I'd done wrong. How do I fix it? You know, that's my motivation was always about bettering myself. I want to be better. How do I make myself better? Do I need to be more aggressive? Do I need to work on my speed? Do I need to work on my shooting, score more goals? What do I need to do? This whole thing of like, you know, blowing smoke up folks' arses of, oh, you're doing so well. You know, that's not. It is motivating, but at the same point, you've kind of got to cut back the shit.
Yeah, there's no point surrounding yourself with a bunch of people that will just blow smoke up your backside. For anyone that follows bodybuilding, look at some of the outrage and storms off stage that you get. And yes, there's some politics and occasionally some dodgy voting, but at the higher levels, a lot of the upset, I think, genuinely comes from people being told the wrong thing. Oh, you've gotten beat. You look so much better than you know, the guy standing next to you. Ultimately, if they beat you, a lot of the time there's a reason.
Yeah, exactly. You know, as you say, you know, every sport has politics. Whether it's football, whether it's powerlifting, whether, you know, again, powerlifting. You know, I don't know if I would class that as a sport. You know, it's more of a, you know, it's more. Maybe I would class it as a sport. Bodybuilding definitely not a sport. It's you know, it's something that's
an overgrown
Yeah, I
beauty
think
pageant,
let me
essentially.
I'll turn that around. Powerlifting is a sport because it is not subjective. It's not subjective.
Yeah.
It works the numbers. Bodybuilding isn't a sport because it's subjectively judged. So that's not sport. It doesn't conform to rules and regulations. It conforms to what the judge sees on the day.
Yeah.
Powerlifting different. But the politics runs through every sport, you know, whether it be football, whether it be rugby, powerlifting, bodybuilding, you know, all these things. And the problem that I have with it is that, you know, we're because of social media and because so many people are doing competitions and shows, you know, whether it be powerlifting, you know, whether it be bodybuilding, you know, people still are scared to tell people the truth. So I would rather turn around to a client of mine and say, you're not ready yet, than have them look like a dick on stage or a dick when they're sitting on the platform.
Yeah.
I don't want that because, you know, yeah, great, you've stepped on stage or you've stepped onto the platform and you've lifted, but how do you actually look? You know, I don't want somebody to then turn and say, oh, I could have been better. Well, you know,
Yeah.
I want to be able to tell somebody that.
I think that this is something that Nick Smith said to me, and it rang true for so long. It's something that I'd always kind of known it, but it never been voiced. Competition, sport, specifically sport, but for this category, for this definition, we'll lump bodybuilding in there. Sport isn't all inclusive.
Yeah, no, I agree. Totally
Some
agree.
people and it's wonderful being motivated, but in saying that, there's no point in me going, I'm going to go and play. I'm going to go and play league football.
As that.
I'm not. I probably wouldn't make the
You know,
top team.
there's so many storms that come out of this kind of stuff. There was an American footballer who turned around and told his two sons to take back their medals because they finished 7th and 8th out of 7 and 8 in a running race, and he said, "That's not winning. You don't get a medal for that."
Yeah.
And, you know, that's my biggest problem with sport at that level is that, you know, yes, you know, it's about, you know, if you want to just play sport, go to the pits, go play five-a-sides. You know, if you want to compete, you want to be at the top level, you need to know if you're going to make it or not. Mm-hmm. You know, you need to know that you are good enough, and you need to listen to other people, because people that are too close to you will blow smoke up your ass. You know, football, sport isn't all inclusive, and anybody that says it is either deluding themselves, because that's why British sport is so awful, is because we try to make it all inclusive. We need to have a system where the best get in and they get looked after.
Well, that's where it's changing in British sport. I suppose this could be a separate conversation, but where it's improving, because it's now you get lottery funding, so you have to prove yourself to be worthy of the funding, and look at the standards of improvement in the Olympics. This has kind of got a little bit off track from motivation, but no, it's all good. I don't mind.
It isn't. You know, I think the motivation for me was when I was, you know, I got overlooked. Mainly because when I played football when I was younger, because I was bigger than everybody else, I got stuck at the back. Mm-hmm. I was a defender. I'm not a defender. I hate defending. I like sticking the ball in the back of the net. And my old man said to me, he goes, "What's going to make you stand out?" And I went, "Well, I don't really know. You tell." And my dad he's always been brutally honest with me. He says, "You need to be fucking harder and faster than everybody else. You need to be harder in the challenge. You need to be faster than everybody else. You need to be able, and you know you can score goals, but you need to do the other two things better." And that's what I did. You know, I managed to play at a decent level most of the way through my career before I get injured. But you know, I was always faster. I was always harder than everybody else. I was willing to stick my head into somewhere where you probably shouldn't have put it. Ended up coming away with numerous broken noses and black eyes and stuff, which footballers just don't seem to do. You know, that's, you know, if you have to be willing to put your head on the block for your sport. You know, that's kind of what sport's about. This whole thing about just turning up just to play, just to take part. Yeah, just to take part. Well, fuck off and do that on a Sunday. Don't think that you're going to be, you know, don't think that you're going to turn up and play in the English Premier League when you're just turning up to make up numbers. Mm-hmm. But that's, you know, that was my motivation. My motivation was always more about what can I do better? What are the things that I'm doing wrong? And it's the same with my training. You know, I'd like to, you know, I want to know. If someone sees something, how try this. This might make it better. Brilliant. I'll do that. I'll try it. You know, I don't want to know. Oh yeah, your numbers are good. Lovely. You know, you're looking in great shape. No, I'm not looking in great shape. I want to be told you need to tighten this up. You need to work on your legs. You need to work on your upper body. You tell me what my flaws are. I'll work on them. And that's my motivation. My motivation's always been quite I've always been
but productive, constructive criticism is not so much telling someone they look like shit, but just saying, well, actually, if we go back to body looks, it's an easy one. Actually, your shoulders are overpowering your chest a bit. Your shoulders aren't too big. You're lacking a little bit here, or your arms are slightly out of proportion, or something like that, or your upper body is overpowering your lower. Things like that. Can be done as what they say, the shit sandwich. Right, your upper body looks awesome. Your quads and hammies aren't quite there, but your waist's nice and tight.
But it's the same thing. Working. Yourself working with clients. We work day in, day out with clients. But you have to be honest with them. There's no point in blowing smoke up a client's backside and trying to tell them, oh, you're looking great, when actually they're looking in the mirror and they're not happy. You need to tell your client or your person you're working with, look in the mirror. You tell me if you're happy. What are you seeing? Oh, I feel I could tighten up a little bit. Right, okay, let's have a look at tightening the nutrition up, or let's put a little bit more cardio in there, take your output up. You need to be that constant feedback. That constant feedback as a coach should be your motivation to work harder for your client. And that's, I think a lot of people are still of that thing about, we just been out with the dogs, we were talking about that. I've been in the industry for a long time, but it's only like the last sort of 5 or 6 years that I've actually been focusing more on my client's nutrition, because it wasn't that big a deal back when I first started. The training was the big deal. The nutrition kind of came in behind it. But nowadays it works very much hand in hand. This whole thing about the sort of 70-30 split towards 70% nutrition, 30% training. The whole, you can't out exercise a bad diet, but you've got to fucking work hard to out exercise.
Realistically, you can. If you kind of in the gym the hours that we're in theory you can, because you could be training 3 or 4 hours a day, and that would do it. But
for general people, that rule does work, and that's the kind of stuff you should be. As a coach, you should be forever learning. You're doing a massage course coming up. I've got a seminar down in Nottingham with Mark Coles. We're going down to with Matt and Shona. That's progression. I'm motivated to learn more. I want to be better at what I do. That motivates me. I want to be better at what I can offer to my clients.
And it's the same. It's not settling, and you see that quite a lot. I recently got in contact with a couple of ex-clients to see how they're doing. And it does. So people settle, and it's like, why settle? Okay, to a certain degree, yes. If I keep going back to bodybuilding, I'm not even a bodybuilder. I have to settle for the fact that I would never make the Olympia, but that's the absolute pinnacle. And to be honest, the things you have to do to your body are really quite extreme. The price you have to pay is not worth it for the vast majority of people. But you don't have to be settle and just accept where you are and go, well, this is all I can do. You motivate, again, back to motivation. It's strive to be better.
I think it's strive to be better. But something I always tell my clients is do not aim for perfection. Aim simply to be better each day. Do something slightly different each day. Make yourself better day by day, week by week, month by month. I was on a course about 7 or 8 years ago. Guy that was taking it as an absolute dig. Fucking absolute diva of the high standards. Fucking throwing strops, walking out the seminar. The one thing I did learn wasn't from him, but it was from one of his assistants. It was a guy called John Hardy, who is, I think it's Faster Training that he runs. And he said, look, if you can read one blog, one article, one magazine article, one bit of thing on it, one fitness blog on the internet every single day, by the end of the year you'll have 365 new pieces of information. That one thing per day equals up to a huge amount by the end of a year. So being slightly better each day, whether it be with your training or your nutrition, aim to be that one step ahead, week by week. You don't need to jump up a full flight of stairs, but being one step better than you were last week is progress. And that should be the motivating factors for you to keep going. You'll have your motivations. You want to be fit and strong and healthy because you want to set an example to your kids. You want Hayden and Esther to look at you and go, That's
Yeah.
my dad is in good shape, and my dad is, you know, he's a good role model.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it's about. You know, and whether that be that, you know, but for me, and you know, I don't have kids, but you know, I'd like to set an example for my clients, for my friends. You know, my dad is my role model because he's 62 this year, 62 a couple of weeks ago. Still plays 2 games of football a week. You know, 62 years old. Most folk are, you know, lying on their, sitting on their sofa on their arse for most of the day. You know, he's got an extremely physical job that he still runs around doing 14-hour shifts. You know, and still plays 2 games of football a week. You know, if I'm doing that at 62 years old, I'll look at that as a massive, you know, massive hope. That's, you know, I'd like to be as fit as my dad is at his age. You know, and that's motivational factors. You know, these little things that add up. You know, it's, you know, you can try and be perfect. You know, but who is perfect? This social media perfect life push that everybody has on. You know, because I put a blog up on my stuff recently. You know, the problem is that 95% of the people that you follow on your social media have perfect lives. Unfortunately, those 95% of people are lying. Or, you know, the 5% of people that don't have perfect lives are the ones you should be following. They're your friends.
Definitely.
You know, 95% of people have perfect lives. It's so easy to make a perfect life on social media. You know, we could turn the laptop around just now and make it look like, oh, we've got an amazing view out there. Brilliant. You know,
But in reality,
it's fucking great because it's Scotland.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's one step away from pissing down. You've got snow coming out through.
Yeah.
Shortly, I'm going to have to put another tenner in the swear jar. Hope I'm ready to have to finish there before I'm out of pocket.
Yeah. But no, it's probably a good place to a good message to end it on is, find your motivation yourself. Don't always look to others. External motivation is good. Surround yourself with people that aren't just going to tell you you're wonderful. They're not going to be dicks to you, not all the time, but unless it's you, it's fine. But surround yourself with people that are a positive influence, support you in what you're doing, strive you to improve, and do the same to them.
Yeah. But are willing to tell you the hard truth when it needs to happen.
I'll be honest with you. And I suppose finally, Jenny, don't worry, he didn't say he's not having kids, he just says don't have them at the minute.
Don't start
right, and I'm going to try and Andy's and Sean also have a clothing company called, is it Pack Apparel?
Pack Performance.
There we go. So I'll put a little linky thing up on here just now. I might even do it right from the start to confuse people. I wonder what the hell is the whole time I'm explaining it now. Okay, cheers guys. Thanks. Bye bye.
Cheers guys.